Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A friendly reminder, today is Thursday. Next week, you have your first test in this room on all of week 1 and week 2. We've technically started week 2 today. So next Thursday, you are taking a test, 25 questions, all multiple choice. You will come in, we'll do a do now, I'll collect your vocab, and then you will have the remainder of the period to take the test. Remember, every Thursday for the rest of your life, you will have a test in this class. They are entirely based on College Board questions. Okay, so I'm pulling them directly from AP Central. If I'm teaching you to take a test, it makes sense that I make you practice taking tests. So here we are. So next Thursday is your first official test, and after that, the pace of this class is going to pick up, like really quick. So if this is too much for you, then you should, this pace in class and outside of class is going to pick up. So join me here. All right. Yesterday, as we talked about in our do now, we moved through some things. Okay, we talked about the Articles of Confederation. We talked about why it failed. We talked about the convention, and Jefferson's not there. Why is it a big deal that Jefferson is absent? When he comes back, what's he going to do? Come on, what's he going to do, Reagan? If it's a big deal he's gone, when he comes back, does he make things better or worse? Yeah, he makes it worse. He's going to fracture the unification of the United States, and he's going to create a two-party system. Okay? Today, in the United States, how many parties, major parties, do we have? 2. And those are all a credit to Thomas Jefferson, who's going to come in and kind of fracture the way we do things. Okay? Now, is it a bad thing that Thomas Jefferson came in and kind of fractured some things? No. Didn't keep everything nice and copacetic? No, either. So, that's a big deal that he's not there. As we talked about, we have issues. Did we go through all of those? We talked about slavery. How many times is slavery directly mentioned in the Constitution, Catherine? Huh? None, absolutely. Why didn't they want to touch it, Catherine? Absolutely, and they needed what group of people to still want to sign the document? They needed all the states to sign the document, but specifically what group were they worried about dropping if they forced the issue of slavery? The South, absolutely, because that's where most of our slaves were. And what also region makes the most money for the United States government? In 1787, what region of America is making the most money? The North or the South? In 1787. The South. Why? What crop is growing down there, Caitlin? In the American South? Pre-Civil War? What are they growing, girl? Cotton, yeah. Cotton is the largest export coming out of the United States. It is really the only moneymaker in the United States in 1787 is the American South and the American cotton. Please know that. What's the second most valuable crop or export we have? What is it, Lucas? Tobacco is our second most valuable crop, and where does that grow? The South. The North is about to get its kickstart. This is 1787 that we're starting the Constitution. In the 1800s, what starts in the North? Industrial Revolution, which is going to take off in Lowell, Massachusetts, and really begin going. So today in 2022, what region of the United States makes the most money? It's definitely not the South, people. Have you seen? Like, how do people make money down here? Where? It's in the North. Northeast makes the most money. However, California is going to have the largest GDP. Gross domestic product. Why? They have the technology, they have the entertainment industry and all that stuff. So California technically is the longest time in the Northeast. Northeast is a couple million behind. California makes more money than, it's like, California, separated from the United States, is the 23rd wealthiest country in the world. So if it decided to call itself its own country, it's the 23rd wealthiest country in the world, California. Damn, that's crazy, isn't it? Wow. Okay, so 1787, the South's the most valuable part. They have to do whatever they can to keep it. That's why slavery is kind of not mentioned throughout the document, except when they get to what? Come on, guys, we talked about it yesterday. Except till when, Ford?
Like House of Representatives.
Yes, why? Because the South wanted what?
They wanted more money. members for more House of Representatives.
So they wanted to count their
slaves as people, but they didn't want the slaves to become.
Lord, I'm so proud. And what do we call that agreement? 3/5, because the slave was worth? No, whatever that math is, like that's insane. Like half a person, that's easier to do 3/5 of a person. Here we are. Perfect. Okay, we talked about Federalist, Anti-Federalist, yes? Perfect, guys, then we are ready to start our primary. Aren't we excited? Yeah, I've learned a lot today, I'm just going to say. All right, here we go. So, just a public disclaimer. I don't know if you know this, but I am a teacher. Did you figure that out? Yes, I have 3 degrees. I have 2 bachelors and a master's. Okay? 3 degrees. My bachelors are in secondary social science, which gives me the qualification to teach history. The second is a bachelor's in history with a focus on the American Revolution. My master's is in special education and bare exceptionality, which gives me 5 endorsements, including math, reading, autism, as well as ADHD. My resume is very impressive. It's stacked on each other, and keep in mind I'm still a lowly paid teacher. I'm telling you this because did I tell you at any point I went to law school? Did I go to law school? Alex, you need one?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, did I tell you I go to law school? No, because guess what I did not do? If I went to law school, do you think I'd be standing here in front of you, making my measly salary in a Target outfit? No. I would be at a fancy law firm, wearing a fabulous outfit, getting significantly higher pay. Yes? So, at any time, I'm telling you this, and honestly, I would never want to be a lawyer. That was never a dream of mine. However, I am telling you, I am not a lawyer. I did not go to law school. I didn't study the Constitution in all of its glory of legal aptitude at all. I'm a student of history. That's what I care about. So I'm going to do the very best I can. Some of you probably want to be lawyers. Anyone want to be a lawyer in the room? Hell yeah. Okay, change the world. Do you? Not my calling? Good luck. Any of you have parents who are lawyers? Okay, cool. That's amazing. I'm telling you right now, I'm doing the very best I can, yes? I am in no way telling you I understand the nuances of the Constitution. This is not my forte. You want to know what my forte is? I learn what I need to learn in order to get kids to pass exams, yes? That is what I'm good at, and I'm really good at it. So, I don't know all the nuances. I am trying really hard. Hopefully you can see that I am trying. What I'm telling you, I'm going to do the very best I can, and I am telling you I know exactly what AP wants you to know, and that's what I'm focusing on. Is that fair? So, if you ask me a really brilliant question about the law, I'm going to say, dude, I have no idea. Because I don't, because I'm not a lawyer. So don't ask me the law questions, because it's not my forte. You want to know about the history or something? Catch you. This is my first time ever going through the Constitution as a historical document as a whole. I've taught the Constitution 1,000 times. I know my Constitution. I don't know it in the terms of which I have to teach now. Is everyone seeing what I'm telling you here? I do not know all the nuances. I'm doing the very best I can, but I know exactly what AP wants you to know. Do you have faith in that? Okay. So don't get into high-level stuff, because I just don't know. All right, here we go. But I do know what you need to know, and that's what we'll be focusing on. All right, here we go. So, every time that we have a primary source, there's always a contextualization. The contextualization is always a gift from God's above in order to help you understand the document. Okay? Now, how I teach it is we always go over the document before we start it, so we already have a basic understanding of how it works. Here we go. In Philadelphia on May 14, 1787, the Federal Convention convened to revise the Articles of Confederation. Okay, they had to revise it because it failed. Okay? And that's a big deal because this is the U.S.'s first attempted what? It's a big deal. But through discussion and debate, it became clear that rather than amend the existing articles, the convention would draft an entirely new frame of government. All through the summer in closed sessions, this is something we haven't really addressed. It's done in secret. Okay? It's done in secret. Why is it done in secret, you think? Why are they keeping it hush-hush? Emily? Okay, yeah, why? Why would that be a problem if they knew that they were going from the Articles of Confederation to this brand new document? Why would that be a problem? Ooh, no. Why would it be a big change if we left the Constitution and went to a new law, code of law? Why would that be a big deal, Jordan? It would change everything. And how do people deal with change, Jordan? So what do you think would happen if we found out right now, 2022, the highest levels of government are trying to create a new government? It would be chaos, absolutely. People would take to the street, burn shit down, like get all crazy, yeah? Okay, so in order to do that, they do it in secret. Keep in mind, they're meeting in Philadelphia in the summer. They have all the doors and windows closed. There's no air conditioning, so how hot is it in there? So of the people taking notes, James Monroe is actually sitting in there, and he's the guy who really tells us a lot about the Constitutional Convention and the ideas of the justifications of why we have certain things. Half of his notes get so soaked through with sweat that he literally lost some of his own notes because he was that sweaty. How gross is that? Like, could just imagine when you think of our like forefathers and you think of like George Washington, like doing like cool George Washington stuff. Just imagine him just like melting in the front of the room because that's how hot it was. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, fun fact. It's done in secret to avoid Americans losing their damn mind and burning down the whole country. Okay? So it's done in secret and then revealed at the end once they can justify the transition from an Articles of Confederation to a Constitution. The delegates debated and redraft the articles of the new Constitution. Among the chief points at issue were how much power to allow the central government, how much representatives in Congress to allow each state, and how these representatives should be elected. So the big deals are election, central government, and representation. How do we get those things covered? On September 17, 1787, the delegates to the Constitutional Convention met for the last time to sign the document they created. Does that mean it's law in 1787? No. It has to go out to ratification. We talked about that yesterday, right? All the states have to say they agree with it before it becomes law. Yes, we talked about it. We talked about how lots of things go out to states to get ratified and they die. Okay? So, not everything gets ratified. Perfect. Here we go. Preamble. Now, this is the actual Constitution. This is the foundation of our entire government. This document is going to be cited 20 bajillion times in this class, yes? If you're going to learn one document to having a basic understanding, and that's what I'm going to provide you, a basic understanding, this is the document, yes? Perfect. Preamble. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. Oh, geez, is that famous? Yep. Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. What does the word posterity mean? Grant? Future generations. Perfect. So, future generations. So, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and essentially our future generations. Do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. All right, here we go. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. This created what branch, ladies and gentlemen? Legislative. So what you're going to do is open up your primary until you get to the back sections. That is where we are going to be. Every time we cover something, we jot. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I think you realistically in this class, we're going to go through this once. Your real source of information is going to be our shorthand on the back. Can we agree? Perfect. So let's make it good. Okay, Article 1 creates the legislative branch. Okay, Section 1, which we just talked about, creates two parts of Congress. House of Representatives and Senate. Okay, so the format of the Constitution, you have articles, and then you have sections. Is everyone clear? So, articles are the big picture, sections are the individual. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualification requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who have not attained the age of 25 years old, have been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned to several states. I'm telling you right now, they're going through right here, and they are creating a document that we use every 10 years called the census. What is a census? What do you got for me, Britt?
It like redistricts everything.
It does redistrict, but what is, that's the end purpose of a census, to use for the redistricting. So you know the hard part, but what is an actual census?
It counts the population.
There you go. The census, it counts the population. Now, just like Britt said, it counts the population so we can do what with it? Redistrict people, to know exactly how many representatives we need per each state, all of that based on population, yes? Okay, so when we're talking about this, we're talking about the census, and they're telling you how many each of the original 13 get. Can we skip it? Okay. Why am I struggling with this word? When vacancies happen in representation of any state, they therefore shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and officer and all that stuff. Okay, so Section 2 of our document, okay, it defines House of Representatives based on population. Powers of the House of Representatives, and creates the census. Now remember, it has to create the census because the House of Representatives is based entirely on the census. So it has to create it. Makes sense. Section 3, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state chosen by the legislature there for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Okay, why do senators get 6 years while House of Representatives get 2? Why? What is the point of that? There's a purpose. Everything is done for a reason. Will, why do you think senators are there for quite some time? Okay, yeah, it's easier to only vote 2. Okay, but that would make sense that they only do it every 2 years. But what do you got for me? Catherine?
Is it because, like, the requirements to be a senator?
I mean, most people are born here in the United States. You know what I mean? So there's still a huge population. Guys, why? Who has the most power? Senators. So they want those people to be there for a prolonged amount of time because they have the most power. When we have people in power, do we want to have huge changes of power, or do we want some consistency? Consistency. So giving the people the most power, longer stays of power, keeps things consistent. All right. Immediately after they assembled. All right, I'm going to simplify this. Okay, re-election. That's an R. Re-election is done by thirds. Okay? It's done by thirds. Why do only a third of the Senate have to be voted on at a time? Why? Think about it. I just kind of gave you a huge hint about it. Why are they doing that, Annie?
To keep more people on power for longer.
Not more in longer, but to make it more.
Smooth.
Yes, absolutely. Think about it. There are 100 senators right now, correct? Imagine if we voted out half of them. Would that change everything in our government?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Would that cause a lot of chaos? Absolutely. So by having only a third of them kicked out or reelected or kept in position, voted by their people, we have more consistency. And that's the point of it. It's about consistency because they have the most power. Okay. No person shall be a senator without attaining the age of 30. Fine. The Vice President of the United States is going to be the one to have a vote. Okay, if it's divided. It's not usually used that often, but Kamala has done it actually a couple times because our Senate and our House of Representatives has a pretty defined line. Impeachment. Okay, the other big thing is impeachment. Impeachments are run by the Senate. You have to have the House convict to impeachment, then the Senate actually runs the trial. Okay. Okay. We do know about impeachments, yes? How common are impeachments? They're not very common. We've had a lot of them of late, yes. We've had Bill Clinton. He's not in your generation. And then, of course, we've had Trump with 2 impeachments. They are incredibly, incredibly uncommon. Okay? However, is an impeachment a removal from office? No, no. Bill Clinton finished his term. Donald Trump finished his terms. Okay? Well, his term as well. Yeah, even after both impeachments. It just means you go to court. Right? You go to court. Is it a good look? No, it's not a good look. That doesn't mean you're removed from power. Is everyone clear? Has a president ever been removed from power? By, like, Congress or the Supreme Court? Never. Who is the closest one? Nixon. But Nixon resigned. He didn't get removed. He resigned. All right, here we go. Judgment cases of impeachment, all that stuff. Perfect. So here we go. Section 3 defines the Senate. Qualification, it defines the Senate, comma, qualifications. 2 per state. Vice President breaks ties. And impeachment. That's what it's covering. Okay. Section 4. Okay. So, Section 2 is really about the House of Representation. House of Rep. Section 3 is really about the Senate. Section 4, the times and places and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislator thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except the place of choosing senators. Ladies and gentlemen, who controls elections? States. States control elections. Ladies and gentlemen, is that a big deal in 2020? Yes, absolutely. Whether you're on whatever team, Republican, team Democrat, it was a huge deal in 2020. And going into 2024, which is the next big cycle, state elections are a huge deal. And the right for the states to control how their elections are being done is a huge deal, and it's granted to them in the Constitution. The Congress shall assemble at least once every year in a meeting on the first Monday in December. Okay, so Section 4 is really about states controlling elections and legislative branch duties. So it's like literally what they have to do. Okay. Okay, so states control elections. Here we go. Section 5. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own member, and a majority of each shall contribute to the quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under the penalties as each house may provide. Essentially, that is saying what, Hannah? Does everyone need to be in Congress at all times, Hannah? Yes or no? Got a 50-50 shot, girl. Yes or no? Would you vote for? Yes or no? No, you're right. Okay? Smaller groups of Congress can be in session. Not everyone has to be there at all times. Business can be done with smaller groups. Each house determines its own rules of proceedings as well as punishment. Skipping to the next. Each house shall keep a journal. They keep records of everything, who is voting for what, and it needs to be published. Neither house during session of Congress can adjourn more than 3 days without permission of the other house. So they're supposed to keep track of each other. All right, here we go. That's section 5. So essentially, check section 5 are your procedural rules. Minimum members, fines, record keeping, and adjourning. What does to adjourn mean? Hello? Yeah, they leave. They can't just not decide like, hey, House of Representatives is taking like 2 weeks off. I'm out. They have to get permission from the Senate. And the Senate can't just do whatever the hell they want. They have to get permission from the House. All right, here we go. Section 6. The senators and representatives shall receive compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance in a session of their respective house, in going and returning from the same, and from any speech or debate in either house. They shall not be questioned by any other place. So what does that mean? Are they protected? Yeah. Okay, so they get paid, which is nice. Can we agree? Are they paid well? They're paid pretty well. They make about $250,000 a year. Okay, but that does not limit them from getting private donations. So keep that in mind. Most senators make a lot of money while in office by book deals and other ways to make money as well. So they're doing just fine, don't you worry. House of Representatives, I think they make about $150,000. Don't quote me on it. $150,000 plus other opportunities to make money as well. All right, perfect. So you also are protected if you are on the floor of Congress. You cannot get arrested. Has that been used before? Yeah. Some senator in like the 1800s stole a bunch of stuff and slept inside the Congress building for like 3 weeks so he couldn't get arrested. That's amazing. I don't care who you are. That's like brilliant. It's like in the Renaissance when you hid in a church so you didn't get arrested. You know, because you can't get arrested in a church. Did you know that? I mean, now you can, but you used to not be able to. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he is elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the annulments whereof have been ceased during such time. Essentially, if you work for Congress, you can only work for Congress. That's it. Here we go. Section 6. Is how they get paid. Cannot be detained. Going to Congress. and cannot hold another job. Perfect. All right, section 7. Whew. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with the amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become law, presented to the President of the United States. If he approves, he shall sign it. But if not, he shall return it with his objections to the House, which will still have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal. Okay, let me just simplify it. Okay, this is how a bill becomes a law. And if the president vetoes it, it can go back down to Congress, and Congress can override the veto. Yes? This is like how the actual government works, is by Section 7. Okay, so this is how laws actually come about. So how a bill becomes a law. Some bills, same bill through both houses. So if there's one word of change, do they have to revote? Yes. So same bill through both houses, sent to president. To sign or veto. Then back down. Okay, so if the president vetoes, okay, it just goes back down to Congress. They can't override if they want to. How often does that happen? A bill make it through the House, the Senate, and get to the president. How often does it happen? It doesn't happen very often. It does happen, but it doesn't happen often. Don't they make this announcement every day? Is this club that valuable to us? Esports team? Don't they talk about this every day too? It's because I'm usually talking through it.
No, they do like Valorant and Wii tennis is better than actual tennis. Maybe for you, Wii tennis is so much better.
Alright, here we go. Section 8. Come on, let's get through this. Alright, Section 8. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. Holy moly. So who's the only person who can levy taxes? Congress. Duties, imports, and excises to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. So no special circumstances. That's a huge deal when it comes to Section 8. Okay, it is only Congress who can borrow money on credit, who can regulate commerce, who can establish ways to naturalization. Ladies and gentlemen, what is naturalization? What does that mean? Lucas, I'm sorry.
Becoming a citizen.
Yeah, it's citizenship. Citizenship is decided by Congress. Congress, people. Coin money. So who's the only one who can make money? Congress. Okay. Provide the punishment of counterfeiting. To establish a post office. Roads. To promote progress of science and useful arts. Yes, sir.
What is Congress?
Congress is the House and the Senate combined.
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. Congress is both houses, also known as the legislative branch. But that's a lot. So people just say Congress. Congress is both houses. Congress is made up of two houses, the House and the Senate. Okay? So when we say Congress, we're just referring to both. Thank you for asking, Alex. I'm sure many people had that thought. Thank you. Okay. Just wave them in, Brennan, please. The door is open. To define, punish piracies and felonies, declare war, raise and support armies, provide and maintain a navy. Okay? So does Congress have a lot of power or little power? A lot of power. Why did we give so much power to Congress? Because it's made up of entirely of elected officials. They are representative of our population. That's why they get the most power, right, Catherine? Is that why you're texting someone to tell them, wow, Congress has so much power? Yeah. 8 gives power to Congress. Gives powers to Congress to create Army, Navy, Post Office, courts, regulate regulate commerce, declare war. I know. Declare war. Taxes. And taxes. There you go. That's all you need. I will call it quits there for the day. Have you ever gone through the Constitution like this?
Yes.
Have you? In what class?
Constitutional law.
Okay. This is 8th period.
I forgot my 2 quizzes from the day.
Oh, toss in the box. Okay. Thank you kindly.